Okay, we've got a mess, ladies and gentlemen. So this is not the video that I wanted to give you guys, but the video that I wanted to give you guys that I started filming was the transmission video. Ray came over last Saturday. We pulled this guy out. The plan was the parts, the seal kit I ordered was supposed to be here over a week ago. And it was showing, you know, estimated delivery day for Saturday. So we were like, okay, cool, we'll pull it out. And when the mailman gets here, you know, we'll put all the new seals in it, throw it back up in there. Well, here it sits a week later, still waiting on the seal kit. So the mailman came and I ran out there. I was like, yay. And it was just a bill. And I was like, oh. So anyway, we're going to do something a little different today. I've been trying to track down issues, you know, while we got low boost when we did our initial test drive. You know, we were only showing about 2.6 to 2.8 pounds of boost. The springs in the wastegates, which you'll notice this one is not on the vehicle currently. The springs in the wastegates are supposed to be 7-pound springs. So the question was, is my map sensor reading wrong, or are my wastegates not opening, or what's the deal with all that? So the answer actually seems to be all of the above. So first thing I want to do, I want to give a shout out to a couple people. The JR 914. I was talking about doing some crazy stuff, guys. I was like, I'm just gonna, you know, I've got a boost gauge over here in a box. I'm just gonna stick the boost gauge in it and compare that to, you know, the next time I drive it, yada yada. And this guy comes in the comment section making me look like an ass clown, and he's like, can you just pressurize the map sensor with about 5 pounds and see where the ECU's reading with the engine not running? Yeah, I guess I could if I wasn't being such a dumbass. And then right after that, Vanilla Gorilla LSX, Adam, he actually comes on there and he's like, yeah, man, just use a high resolution air pressure regulator. Well, I didn't have one, but then Adam even came on. He messaged me and he was like, here's a link for one. So I tried to find one local, the high resolution ones, which they just read to like 30 pounds. And I couldn't find one locally. All the ones I found local were like 120 or 160 pounds, and those you just can't dial them in very accurately at you know, low PSI or anyway. So I ended up ordering it, and it came yesterday. So I came over here. Excuse my workbench, guys. I have been just you haven't seen any videos, but I've been tinkering with this guy all week long, trying to make some progress while I was waiting on parts. But this is the regulator that I got that Adam recommended. So I got this puppy hooked up. I put one of my little push connect fittings. I'm going to show you guys all that jazz, that fancy stuff here in a minute. But I got it in there, and I took both the wastegates off. I tested both the wastegates, and I found out some kind of interesting stuff. So first off, this is the spring that I currently have in both of them. This is supposed to be a 7-pound spring. So what I found out is it's not a 7-pound spring. You know, if I start applying pressure to it, the wastegate valve actually starts to crack at a, you know, somewhere between 4 and 5 pounds. Now I'm assuming because of the back pressure in the exhaust manifolds that once this guy cracks, you know, and gets to where it doesn't take anything. You can just take a finger and push it down. But once it gets to that point, the back pressure in the exhaust is probably going to go ahead and force it the rest of the way open. So I'm calling this guy right here like a maybe 4 to 5 pound spring is what I'm thinking it is. Because like I said, you know, the valve starts to crack at 4 pounds. It's fully open by 6. So, you know, again, in a situation where there's exhaust pressure, I'm betting this thing would open enough and bypass, and, you know, this thing would just make about 4 to 4.5 pounds of boost, somewhere in there. And that kind of goes right along with what I found with the map sensor. So the first thing I did to check my map sensor is the Holley HP actually has a built-in map sensor, you know, baro sensor, or whatever you want to call it, that it reads, you know, ambient air pressure. So the first thing I did was key forward, and I looked at, you know, the baro reading versus my map sensor reading, and I found a discrepancy. I found out my map sensor is actually reading low. So the baro that's built into the Holley HP is, when it was reading 99, my map sensor was actually reading 94, I think it was. So a little bit of discrepancy there. So then I used our new fancy little regulator over there to put some boost at my map sensor. And what I found out is, at 10 pounds of boost, if I put 10 pounds of air pressure exactly on this, my map sensor is only reading, I think it was 8.9 pounds or 8.8 pounds. It's somewhere in there. So, and I tried different boost pressures, and the discrepancy got worse the more pressure I added. So like at 15 pounds of pressure, I was only reading like a little over 13 on the map sensor. So my scaling is definitely screwed up with this map sensor. And what this map sensor is, it's like an old school GM brick style 3-bar, and this is a fancy plate that someone who doesn't like their name mentioned in my videos sent me, that actually adapts it and lets me use these push lock fittings. But back behind here, it's just, you know, the old classic 3-bar GM map sensor like you would have saw on a Grand National or something like that. It is generic. It's not actual AC Delco or whatever, whoever makes them. But you know, he was using it, and guys, I think that's my issue. So we found out the Wastegate springs are 4-pound springs, 4 to 5 pound springs. We found out that my map sensor is reading a little over a pound off at that level. So that kind of goes together, guys. So I was probably actually making about 4 or 4.5 pounds of boost, and my map sensor was only showing 2.8. I mean, that makes total sense, because if you add the 1.2 pounds that it's off at that level at 10 pounds, if you add that to the 2.8 pounds, it puts you at 4 pounds. So yeah, in that test drive video, the first drive video, that's where I think we were at, guys. I think we were making 4 pounds of boost. Now, the issue I'm having, and you know, if anybody's a Holley guru, I might actually reach out to Matt Happel about this. I can't rescale it, guys. Like, I tried to rescale the map sensor, because when I looked at my scaling and I looked online at what a GM 3-bar is supposed to be, it was obvious that it was off. So I tried to correct the scaling, and it will not let me. Every time I tried to change the scaling on my map sensor, it throws up this code about the nitrous ICF table and says, you know, can only do 14.5 to 31.5 or some shit. I have no idea what it's talking about. I even deleted the nitrous ICF off my tune. I made a copy of the tune, deleted the nitrous ICF, and tried to switch it over so I could look at it in KPA instead of in PSI, and it still threw up that same message. So I need some help with that, guys, because, you know, obviously my scaling's wrong. I've said a couple times in previous videos that I thought the scaling was wrong even before we put the turbos on, because I felt like I wasn't in the right part of the fueling table and the ignition table that I thought I should be, like at idle and stuff like that. So yeah, we finally confirmed it. You know, my scaling is off, but I can't fix it, and I don't know why. I don't know why the V5 software is fighting me on that, but hopefully we'll figure that out soon. And that leads me to the next thing. So you'll notice the driver's side gate is back on after we tested it. The passenger side gate is still off. Here's a reason. This gate is leaking. It is actually leaking air pressure from the bottom of the gate to the top of the gate. It's leaking, you know, into the dome here, and I'm not sure how to fix it. I've taken it apart. Obviously the spring's not in there anymore, because I was just doing some testing, and the funny thing is, it starts leaking at the same time the valve starts opening. So as soon as the valve starts to open, it starts bleeding pressure into the top of the gate, and you can hear it hissing out, you know, because I've still got this port open. So you can hear it hiss out, and of course the more pressure I put to it, the more it comes out. But here's the funny thing. If I take the spring out like I do now, I mean, I can throw all the pressure. I mean, I can give it all the pressure, boys. Look at this. Where am I at with this here? Where am I at? There we go. But look, with no spring in it, I can give it all the pressure. What are we up to? We're up to 15. I mean, yeah. Well, you get the picture. That's 22 pounds, 25-ish, 25-ish pounds, and no leaks. Nothing leaking there. But if I put the spring in, as soon as, like, you can see the valve's down, obviously, because I got all that pressure on the bottom of the gate. But if I put the spring in, as soon as that valve starts to crack, yeah, it starts bleeding off pressure. And I don't know why. I took it apart. I looked at the diaphragm. The diaphragm looks goofy, but no more goofy than the other one. I mean, it's obvious, you know, they've got some manufacturing tolerance issues there. But I mean, I don't know what to do. I tried rotating, and I'm going to play with it some more, guys. I tried rotating the diaphragm around different places and putting the lid back on, and it still does it. Now, this one, this gate here, it will start to leak into the top as well, but you got to put a lot at it. Like, even after the valve opens, it doesn't leak until you put, I think it was around 18 pounds of pressure, because I just started cranking it up just to see what it would do. And once it got up to about 18, it started leaking into the top also. But below that, no issues, and it doesn't do it when the valve cracks like that one does. So yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on. I'm not sure how bad that's going to hurt us, because we're going to be using a 4-port, and we're going to be adding air to the top. So I'm almost wondering if it's really not going to affect us anyway, because number one, it doesn't happen until the valve starts to open, and you know, number two, we're going to be putting air on top of the diaphragm too with the 4-port boost controller. So it may not cause an issue, but it might. And just in case, I have actually contacted Speed Daddy, which is who I got these cheap wastegates from. I contacted Speed Daddy and told him about the issue. And I mean, that was just like a couple hours ago, but I'm hoping to hear back from them. Maybe they'll send me another gate. Maybe they won't. But like I said, I don't know if it's going to cause an issue or not. They seem like, according to everything else we've discovered, they seem like they were putting out exactly the amount of pressure that, you know, that these springs were going to let them put out, which was about 4 pounds. So, I mean, if they want to send me another gate, that'd be great. But if they don't, we'll run these. Maybe in the future, you know, we might go to something else if I start deciding that it's causing an issue. But anyway, on to other things. I finally managed, guys, this is pretty much just an update video from the first drive video. I managed to get this screw loose. It just took a little heat, a little WD-40, and you know, I finally got it to break loose. I swear, I think they Loctite those adjustment screws on these LS throttle bodies at the factory. After they get them adjusted, I think they Loctite them. So this guy's good to go back on. Now I want to kind of show you, yes, I am switching everything over to these quick release push connectors. And the reason I'm doing that is because, guys, I'm taking this thing apart and putting it together and taking it apart, putting it together, and I'm getting so sick of, number one, having to cut hoses to get them off of nipples, and number two, of, you know, undoing all these hose clamps. So I've actually done away with most of my rubber hoses, and I went and I got this guy. You know, this is a cheap little $20 vacuum distribution block. I'm currently in the process of trying to figure out some way to get it from here to here. I was hoping I could find a 3/8 nipple that 90'd that could screw in here. I'm not having any luck. This is a -8 AN orb is the thread size on this. and I need to adapt it to a 3/8 nipple, but I need it to be a 90. So if I can't find one soon, I may just get Brad to kind of weld me something together, like maybe cut this nipple off and find me a 90, an aluminum 90, and see if he'll just weld it to this fitting and then screw it in here. Boom, wham bam, thank you ma'am, all done. So anyway, here's what we're doing, guys. We're using this line instead of rubber line. This is nylon line, and it makes everything easier to take apart. That's the bottom line. You know, when you've got something that you're going to be working on, you're going to be taking stuff apart all the time. You don't want to fool with hose clamps and crap like that. When with these, all you got to do is, we see you, Haley. Haley.
No, you don't.
Hey,
You don't see me.
you're on
You don't
camera.
see me. You don't see me.
You're on camera.
You don't see me. I'm a ghost.
My youngest daughter. And there's my son back from the banquet. All right.
I won an award.
Haley won an award. Nice. You guys don't care about any of that. So anyway, back to these. You know, all you got to do, stick it in, boom, you're done. Sealed. If you want to take it back off, all you do is push that collar in, and it pops right out. Just like that. So I'm using those everywhere. I'm actually thinking about trying to use them on my steam port line here too. Trying to figure out a way to adapt them there. But yeah, that's what I'm using, guys. And I just want to say, I don't know how they're going to work out. Matt Happel actually chimed in, the great Dimma himself. He actually chimed in on one of my Instagram posts where I showed I was using these, and he said he's had some bad luck with them, like melting. So what I've tried to do is just get them as far away from the exhaust as I can, and not running any of them over the top where the heat comes up. I'm trying to run them all down low. So here's what we got going on. We got top of gate, bottom of the gate. They're zip tied together. They go under. Currently, I just have them under a bolt right here. You can see. But I'm actually going to have like a hose clamp bolted right there to hold these down so they can't come up and get anywhere near our header here. And then they go over and they tee together right here. Can you see? Can you see? But I've got them in T's here, and they go up to our 4-port Mac valve here, which there is currently no mounting bracket for because I'm waiting on a mounting bracket. And then, you know, of course, you've got your reference line that comes down, and I'm using reference off this turbo over here to control the gates. And these are the two lines that are going to be hooked to the gate on this side. So I know one of you guys was actually asking me about, you know, if I would do a video about how to hook up wastegates and all that jazz, and I think I might do that. So yeah, I might do a video about that in the future, maybe later this week. We'll do our whiteboard presentation there. But yeah, this is awesome. So currently I have my reference line for my blow-off valve, and I have my map sensor. There we go. I have my map sensor teed together. The reason for that is I ran out of 90s here, so I didn't have enough 90s to screw in. So I've already ordered another pack of them. I'm going to go over pricing and where I got all this stuff from really cheap with you guys here in a minute. But as soon as my other 90s get here, this T will go away, and we'll have a 90 right here just dedicated to this. We'll have a 90 on the back here dedicated to our map sensor over there. And I'm probably going to put a straight fitting here and adapt for our fuel pressure regulator. And you know, we're probably just going to leave. I've got my heater control valve door tied into the intake manifold here, but you notice I don't have all that. You know, I had a big T here, or 2 T's here with a bunch of hoses going everywhere, and I don't need that. I don't need that now with this block. I just drilled a couple holes. I don't know if you can see that where those bolts are. Yeah, there you go, there and there. I just drilled holes in these pieces of plastic that stick up on the truck intake. And I want to say, guys, I could have got away without using this on this truck intake, but we are going to switch to the Holley high ram at some point in the future, and when we do, I'll be utilizing this block probably just about every port on it at that point. So just decided to go ahead and get it and hook it up on here and start using it. So as for these fittings, guys, I got these so cheap, it almost just, you know, didn't make sense to try to use rubber lines anyway. I got these in packs of 10 for less than $8. Okay, so I got 10 straights, I got 10 90s, I got 10 T's, I got 10 Y's, which I have no idea. Instead of ordering these, I should have ordered 2 packs of the 90s, and these are 1/8 NPT, and they come, like, you know, pre-gooped, so you don't have to have thread seal or anything. It's already on there. So like I said, every pack of these was less than $8 a piece for 10. And then I got 50 feet of the nylon tubing for, like, I think $14. So all in, you know, I was less than $50 all in for all that stuff. And there's enough here, like, I'm having to use a bunch of T's. I've got 2 turbos, 2 wastegates. If this was a single turbo setup, I'm just saying I would have enough here to probably do 4 or 5 single turbo setups. And, you know, once I get my second batch of these, like I said, I should have ordered 2 batches of these and not ordered these Ys, because I have no use whatsoever for these Ys. But if I would have ordered 2 batches of those, I'd have enough here to do, you know, at least 2 or 3 twin turbo setups like this, and you know, $50 in. So basically, you could say I've probably got about $15 to $20 in the fittings just for this setup, and I've got a bunch of extra left for future builds. And you guys know we will be doing more turbo builds on other stuff. So yeah, it just made sense, guys. So I'm going to put links in the description for all of those that I bought, and they'll be like eBay search links. So just look for the best price, guys. Like I said, they're really cheap. They do have them in metal as well if you want all steel, all stainless bodies on these. You know, if you're worried about heat or maybe the fittings melting. The only place I could see the fitting maybe getting hot enough to melt would be on the wastegates. Let's see right here. I can just disconnect this. Yeah, you see how easy I just disconnected that, guys. But yeah, like right here, it's possible this might get, you know, a little hot, and the fitting itself might have some issues. If it does, we'll order some metal ones. The metal ones are about 3 times the price though, so just know that if you want to do what I did, but you want to go with all metal fittings, and I mean they've even got the metal collars on them too, it's going to cost 3 times as much. The line's still going to be the same price, but the fittings are going to be way more expensive. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at, guys. Waiting on parts for the transmission, trying to figure out some little stuff. I think we're going to be okay with the wastegate. Like I said, even though it's leaking a little bit, I don't think it's going to affect it, since it doesn't really start leaking until the valve opens. And you know, once we get our 4-port Mac valve, once we get that tied into the Holley and operating, then I really don't think that's going to be an issue, because it's going to be putting air on top of the gate too. So I don't know. I would like to figure out, or wouldn't like to, I absolutely have to figure out why my Holley software is not letting me rescale that map sensor. So if you got something on that, let me know. Like I said, I might reach out to Matt Happel or Brent Spence or somebody and see if they can help me out with that. I have no idea why it's acting that way, but that's pretty much it, guys. So I just need to get all this thrown back together. I'm going to play with the wastegate, that wastegate a little more, see if I can get it to quit leaking. Get all this thrown back together. Get my 4-port wired into the Holley. And yeah, and then as soon as as soon as we get the transmission seals, we'll get that sealed up and put back in. I know this is a long-winded video, but you know, I just wanted to kind of let you guys know what happened, because I told you I was going to put out a 4th video last week and it never happened. And well, that's why, you know, we're waiting on parts. But guys, we're getting real close to the Memorial Day race, the end of the month, and honestly, I don't know if this car is going to be ready. I have to work next weekend, so I'm probably not going to get anything done to it. So it's pretty much whatever I can get done during this week, and then next week during the week. If I can't get everything back together with this car and get it out for some tuning, you know, make some street hits in it and get it dialed in, it might not be at that Memorial race. We might have to, I still want to go to the race, whether Chaos Theory's there or not, but we might have to figure something else out, guys. So just keeping you guys in the loop. That's all I got. Get out in the garage, get something done, and I'll see you next time here on Bad Luck Garage.